Sugarplums, welcome back to my channel. Guys, in today's DIY, I'm going to be showing you how to make an ocean desk. And keep in mind, this is my very first big ocean desk ever, or ocean table ever. So this is the table I'm going to be using. I'm showing right now. I clean it with some alcohol, and this is the mask that I'm going to be using, guys. Everything I will use, I will put in the description box below for you guys. They are very important. Safety first. Make sure you're in a ventilated area and wear your mask and glove. Now, because my desk is all polka dot and stuff, so I'm gonna go ahead and spray paint it black, but you don't have to do that. You can use like the color of the ocean to paint your desk already, but I want to go ahead and spray paint it black just to remove all those polka dot color. Now I'm showing you different thing I'm gonna be using to make the sand. I'm using my crystal sand glass that I made in this channel. I'll leave the link for you guys at the end of the video. I'm gonna be using some fine glitter from Let's Resin. I'm using copper and sand. I'm also gonna be using some mica powder. I believe I used the Aztec gold and just the classic gold. I don't remember which one I used, but you'll see it in the description box below as well. So I went and add my epoxy in them, divided in three, do a clear coat first, and then I'm gonna go ahead and mix both my mica powder and my glitter together, and then I'm gonna be using that for the sand. Now the crystal sand glass that I made, I'm gonna be using it dry on my I'm sanding beach area, just because I want the beach to look dry in some spot, and also want it to have like some kind of texture in it, because as you can see, I use all three different sand that I made, because I wanted the beach to look like it have like some kind of small rocks in it, because as you see per the title, it's not gonna be a pretty, you know, ocean wave good weather sea. It's gonna be a very stormy, turbulent sea, like a hurricane sea. So we need to have a lot of wave going on, a lot of water coming coming to the shore, flooding the beach area, but I still want to have like that part where the beach is showing that it's kind of dry. So using my heat gun, I'm gonna go ahead and heat up the epoxy just to make sure that the sand area, you know, sink into the epoxy, just to have the texture. Now keep in mind, because I made my crystal sand with glass fillers, they have like some sharp part in it, so keep that in mind. So now to make my beach water, because it's the base, and again my beach my table itself, I have like a black background right now. I'm gonna be using mica powder to make my water area first, because you know it's opaque. So I'm showing you the different mica powder that I'm using, guys. As you can see, all of them are in the video. If you wanna see which one that I use, I'll link the mica powder that I'm using in the description box below for you guys, so make sure you check them out. So I went and divided my epoxy into 4 parts, did my 3 different color, going from dark to light, and then I'm gonna go ahead using my glove finger to kind of blend them out. And then because I didn't make enough, I didn't want to waste a lot of epoxy, I'm gonna put a little bit of clear on top of them to you know, mix them a little bit more together, so my water can, you know, kind of blend it a little bit. And then again, using my heat gun and using a torch to pop you know, any bubble that's showing up, and you know, the heat gun do pop a lot of bubble out as well, but it also serve as, you know, he hit the epoxy more for you to be able to play with it. Now for my wave, I'm gonna be using casting craft, and guys, let me tell you, I love the stuff. It give you a lot of nice, you know, wave and laces and, you know, cells in your water. So I'm gonna go ahead and with a click a little bit of clear epoxy, I'm gonna put it right like in the shoreline where the ocean and the sand meet. This is where we're gonna create our first wave. Now I'm gonna be using my heat gun again to heat up my epoxy and move it. Now let me tell you something, guys. This heat gun only have literally 2 options: scorching hot and low. It doesn't have like any like heat control, and it doesn't have air. So it's not my preferred heat gun. I actually buy order another one, so I'm waiting for it to come, because I want it to have, you know, air control as well. So I'm gonna be using both my heat gun in my hair dryer to make my wave, just because I want some wave that's gonna be really blown out. So, and this heat gun doesn't give me that option to use air on it. So if I want my wave to be a little bit more subtle, I'm gonna be using just the heat gun. But if I want it to be more blown out, I'm using both the heat gun and my hair dryer. So this is my first set of wave I'm showing you just with the heat gun because it's super hot. I have like some beautiful cell going on. Now I'm gonna go ahead for my second wave, and this time I'm gonna be using my hair dryer, and I'm using it on high heat and high air, so I'm gonna be able to blow that away. And guys, this is gonna be all that we're gonna be doing for day one. Now usually when you're doing those kind of project, people will put the sand down first, let it dry, and do the water, let it dry, and do the wave. But guys, this project took me 8 days to completely complete. So, and this is me doing everything, you know, like within hour interval, like adding the sand, let it cure for about an hour, do my water, and then let it cure for an hour, and then do my waves. It took me 8 days. So if you have the time to wait for like a day every time you do something, then by all means do it. So as you can see, the hair dryer work really well when you're doing the wave. As long as you put it on high heat and high air, you can have some beautiful wave going on. And all I'm gonna be doing again, use your torch, but be careful when you're using your torch, because you don't want to burn your epoxy. But the torch itself, when you use it on your your white pigment, it actually break down the pigment and give you some beautiful laces and beautiful cells as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day for day one, and then we're gonna go ahead and let it cure overnight, and then we're gonna go ahead and move on to day number 2. Now this is what the table or the desk look like at the end of day number 1. And if you're going for that pretty wave ocean looking, I think this look beautiful. As you can see, the water is like flooding the shore, but you can still see the shoreline. But that's not what we're going for. We're going for that hurricane looking ocean, that turbulent, violent looking ocean, that ocean that says stay away from me. So that's what we're going for. Now I'm gonna go ahead, we go and move on, and this is day number 2. Now day number 2, we're gonna go ahead and add depth to our ocean. And to do that, guys, you need to use probably like alcohol ink or some kind of pigment, something that is clear, more sheer, not mica powder, because you don't want to cover everything that you did. So as you can see, again, I'm gonna link everything that I use for you in the description box below, so you can check that out. And for my wave, I use more casting craft pigment, because I want my wave to be super white. So again, I'm gonna go over with the color using my clear more sheer alcohol ink, and we're going again from darkest to lightest. Now because the epoxy mixed with alcohol ink is very sheer, you still be able to see the first layer that we put down, and the wave's gonna be under the water, and that's gonna be adding dimension and depth to your to your piece. So again, I'm using my heat gun to kind of warm the epoxy and move it a little bit, and I'm using my torch to pop any bubble. Now this is where we're gonna go ahead and go crazy with the wave, guys. I absolutely love this piece because the wave, you're gonna have like wave on top of wave, that crazy roll of water coming to the shore when you have a hurricane coming. This is what we're going for. So I'm gonna be adding a lot of wave, guys, onto my piece, and I'm again heating it up with my my heat gun and using my hair dryer to make those waves, because you want those waves to look like very crazy and like dangerous looking. So after I did all my wave, now I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more wave, like in places that I think that need more wave. And again, for this part, I'm gonna be using my heat gun and hair dryer. And if I want my those detail wave that I'm gonna be doing to be less blown out, I'm just using my hair dryer, I'm just using my heat gun to push them out. But if I want them to be more blown out, I'm using both my hair dryer and my heat gun to make those waves. As you can see, the heat gun, because it's super hot, it kind of break out the pigment and give you some beautiful laces and cell in your wave. So that's what I'm gonna be doing, and then once we finish doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and let it cure overnight. I'm not gonna go ahead and make more wave. I think the ocean, it look very scary right now. I have like a lot of crazy wave going on, and it's beautiful in my opinion. And I think it doesn't need more wave. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna be showing you like some of the cells that both that the heat gun and the torch created. As you can see, you have like so many depth and so many detail when you do like the second layer of the clear blues epoxy on top, because now you have some waves that is showing that under the water. And look at those cells that and those laces that the heat gun and both the torch create, guys. I highly recommend like casting craft to do waves, because I love the foamy look of it. It actually look like real water wave, and I love those part that's showing that it's clear, and then the foamy part that's showing I think it's beautiful. Now we're gonna go ahead and let this dry overnight, and then the next day, which is gonna be day number 3, we're gonna go ahead and do a flood coat. Now because this is gonna be a desk, and I used the crystal sand that I made. Again, my crystal sand, I made it with glass filler. You don't want somebody to feel the grittiness of that, because we do have like some sharp edges on it. I'm gonna go ahead and do a flood coat to completely cover the beach area. You'll still be able to see the texture. You'll still be able to feel those like texture on it. It will look like it's gritty, but when you touch it, it's gonna be completely smooth. You don't want somebody to cut their hand when they put like their hand on a desk. I mean, it's a desk. Your hand's gonna be on it all the time. So we're gonna go ahead and do this, and I'm using like some painter's tape to hold it out, and it did a good job holding most of the epoxy, but we still had a little bit of drippage on the side. So on the next day, I went out and removed the tape, and then kind of strip out the edges of the side of the desk, and then I'm gonna go ahead and let it cure for 72 hours, guys. Yes, 3 more days like this. We're not gonna touch it, we're not gonna do anything to it, we're gonna completely let it dry. And I did that based on my epoxy direction. The completely cure time is 72 hours because we're doing such a big piece, and I'm gonna be doing sanding later on. You don't want to sand like not completely cure epoxy, because you don't want to mess your piece up. So I'm gonna go ahead and let it completely cure for 72 hours, and then guys, we're gonna go ahead and show you. That's gonna be day number 7. Yes, day number 7, guys. It took me quite a while to make the table, but I absolutely love it. I love the way it look. Again, this is day number 7. As you can see, I moved the tape and I scraped the side, and then we're gonna go ahead and get to sanding right now. Now I'm gonna be using a lot of sanders, sandpapers to do that, and my lowest grade is gonna be 180, and I'm going all the way up to 800, and I'll be doing some dry and wet sanding. Now for my first sanding coat, I'm gonna be using my electric sander. Now if you haven't used one of those before, be extremely careful, because you don't want to press really hard on your project, because you don't want to eat the epoxy and have some uneven spot or completely mess up the piece. So just gently put it down and let the sander do its job, just moving it in low circle, and use your fingers, guys, to kind of fill out where you want to need more sanding and stuff like this. So I went and sand my piece completely with the electrical sander first, then wipe it down, and now from 200 grade all the way to 800, we're gonna be doing some wet sanding. And guys, I'm not gonna bore you with that. That's the same thing. Do it one at a time. Wet it down, remove completely, clean it with some water and a wet cloth, and then go move on to the grid until you get to your final grid. Now this is what my table is gonna be looking like after I did the whole completely grid. Now it's completely smooth, guy. You can see all those little rocks or the texture showing in the sand, but when you touch it, it's not there. So which is what we're going for. Now because I had scraped the side, now I have to go ahead and repaint them again, but I'm gonna be using a spray paint, so I'm gonna go ahead and use some tape on top of the edges of the side of the table, just to make sure I don't spray black paint on top of my ocean. Now if you feel that your hand is not steady enough to do that, use acrylic paint to do that. It's gonna be the same result, but I'm using spray paint because I want it to dry faster. And I also use spray paint on the leg as well, and use my clear coat to seal the leg, not the side, because I'm gonna be using epoxy on the side. So just the leg, because you don't want the spray paint to come out. And do the same thing if you're gonna be using acrylic paint, guys, just to make sure you seal everything down. Now once it's dry, remove my tape. Now I'm gonna be doing my seal coat. And when you're doing your seal coat, make sure you have enough epoxy, and make sure you always start it in the center of your piece, so that way when you move your epoxy around, you make sure you cover the whole surface first before you gently start pushing it on the side. And this is exactly what I'm going to be doing, putting my epoxy down. As you can see, I am moving it in on top of the whole piece before I start and gently start pushing it. Once my whole piece is covered, now you can start and gently pushing it so it can roll on the side. And when I was sanding the my table, guys, I rounded the edges, and I did that by hand because again I didn't want to mess up my piece by using the electrical sander on it. So that way when you round your edges, the epoxy will be able to flow more on the side. So I went and covered all my piece, and then again using heat gun to heat up the epoxy so it can have a better flow. And then I went and used my torch, pop all the bubbles, and let it sit to cure overnight, and we are completely done. 8 days later, I have a beautiful turbulent stormy ocean desk. And guys, I'm gonna be showing you, I am absolutely in love with the beach area where you have those big foamy wave coming, and then you can see like some part of the beach sand part at the bottom. And I think it looks so realistic. And if you're looking at the water, you have like different like type of wave. You have like very subtle wave going on, and we have those big roll of water that's forming that's gonna come to the shore. Absolutely beautiful pieces. I love it. It's very smooth. Now anybody, you can put your hand on it because it's a desk. You still have the texture, and when you're looking at the sand, it still look dry in some area. That's why I use my sand dry, because I didn't need to have a wet look, because some part of it doesn't have any water showing on it. So you don't want a completely wet beach. It's not underwater, so doesn't need to be wet. I'm showing you a different part of it, guys. And guys, keep in mind, this is my very first big piece of ocean, beach, or any of thing like this. So if I can do it, guys, you can do it. Now if you're following this, guys, and you want to use the same equipment that I use, the same product that I use, I'll leave everything for you in the description box below. Again, guys, don't forget to enter the giveaway that I did. Like this video, comment below, share with your friend and family. And next week on Tuesday, when I put my next video on, I will let you know who is the winner of the $20 Amazon gift card. This is just a little something to give you guys. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Leave a like for me, comment, and share it with your friend and family. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys. I love you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, guys, thank you so much for being here again. And as always, guys, be blessed and stay blessed. I'll see you soon. Bye. Mwah.